Ladies and gentlemen, we have the first ever UFC card on Paramount Plus to break down. We are back. Been on a little bit of a hiatus here, a couple weeks off with the winter break. Felt like a couple years off since we've had a UFC card, but they're finally throwing one at us. Like I mentioned, it's the first one on Paramount Plus. First numbered card that is not a pay-per-view in forever, so that's a bit of a difference there. And then also that comes with these Paramount Plus cards is I think they shifted all of the times earlier, but I did notice that this one starts at 8 p.m. Central Time. Used to, with the pay-per-views on the numbered cards there, they were 9 o'clock Central Time, so shifted them an hour earlier. Pretty decent card. I've got a set of prelims and early prelims as well. I'm assuming, yeah, so it shows that they're all going to be on Paramount Plus, and then, of course, UFC Fight Pass as well. But first set of prelims, we're going to breeze right through these, not spend a ton of time on these. We're going to kind of keep it like our usual breakdowns where we spend the lion's share of our time on the main card. Ones to keep an eye on, though, I think this Ricky Turcios versus Cameron Smotherman fight's going to be pretty fun to kind of getting after its styles. Ricky Turcios, we've been following since The Ultimate Fighter. Not like a world beater or anything, but he's just a fun fighter to watch. Kind of a chaotic style. Almost reminds me of like an early El Kukui somewhat. I do think Cameron Smotherman shuts him out, though. And at a 2-1 favorite, I guess I'm not the only one who thinks that. Josh Hokett, Denzel Freeman. I got no dog in that race there. Denzel Freeman looks cool just because he's got like the 90s cop vibe going on. He could almost be a star in like a Lethal Weapon movie or something, so we're going to go with him. Next, we have Michael Johnson versus Alexander Hernandez. Now, this is actually a fun one. One I think that is worth watching and one that I'm kind of torn on. Michael Johnson is a St. Louis guy, so we're going to root for him. But also, if I'm not mistaken, Alexander Hernandez is from like Columbia, Missouri or something like that. San Antonio. Why do I feel like he's from Missouri in reality, though? Either way, fun style matchup. Michael Johnson... Actually, kind of both these guys have a little bit of it, but Michael Johnson's kind of famous for winning a fight, somewhat dominating a fight, and then managing to find a way to lose right there at the end, tripping up at the goal line. Good power, though. Absolutely cracks when he lands. Has looked okay of late. Not looking terrible. I don't want to say he's having like a resurgence, like a career resurgence or something, but he's kind of putting it together. He's got 3 in a row. Doing okay against some younger guys, too. Daniel Zellhuber. I think they were trying to set him up, trying to give him a lob, and Michael Johnson upset that one. Going against a guy in Alexander Hernandez. Decent wrestler, decent striker. Not like super, super crazy power, and he fades a little bit, but he generally puts it together pretty well. And he's a guy who came on the scene with a lot of hype behind him. Maybe too much hype, and I think it got to his head a little bit. And then old Cowboy Cerrone had to jerk a knot in his ass. But since then, he's kind of straightened up a little bit. Seems to have lost like maybe... I don't know, like 20 to 30% of his ego. He's like trimmed a little bit of it off, so looking a little bit better, but I still think at times he gets a little full of himself. 4 wins in a row, though. The most recent, the TKO over Diego Ferreira, which, if I remember right, I had Diego in that one, so maybe I'm just a hater. I would think Alexander Hernandez should win this one so long as he doesn't get caught. Chin is a little bit questionable on old Mr. Hernandez. Yeah, minus 150, plus 130. That's about right there. Those odds are about right. I could see Michael Johnson maybe clipping him and shutting him out. He throws punches pretty long, and I think guys don't expect him to still be able to touch him at the range that he does, and then they end up getting caught by him. If I remember right, he slept Dustin Poirier, but I'd go Alexander Hernandez. I think he's the more technically sound fighter. I think he's a fair bit younger, too, unless I'm terribly mistaken. 6 years younger. Those are kind of those pivotal years, too, there, the early to late 30s. So I think Alexander Hernandez gets it done. What are the odds? Minus 147. I played him odds. Take the money line. Next up, the premier fight of the early prelims, and another one that I am vested in because of old energy, Charles Johnson. We have another St. Louis guy. Charles Johnson trains... I don't know. I mean, there's one of the places he trains at. It's like fucking 10 minutes up the road from me. Unconventional style. He's got originally a wrestling background, but then he went over and did a lot of Thai kickboxing, so he's got a really good kickboxing base as well in there. A little bit of an upright stance, but with that wrestling base, it generally seems to pan out for him. He still has a good sprawl, good hips, good scrambles. Gets a little out hustle at times. I think he's lacking a little bit in the horsepower department. And at 35 years old, in these smaller, really speed reliant weight classes, I kind of worry a little bit about that. But I don't know, man. There's like a big question mark that always surrounds Charles Johnson because it's not like he's hit or miss. He always performs about the same. It's how are people going to be able to handle it? Because some dudes cannot handle his style. It's very pressure heavy. He's very like volume heavy. He's all over the place. He mixes it up very well. He's high low, both in the striking and then the grappling as well. So he's a fucking handful, and I think he overloads people. There's a certain level, he's a real good barometer for where you're at in the division. You're either good enough to get over Charles Johnson, you're probably going to be in like the top 10, top 5 even, or you're not as good as him, and you're probably never going to be in that upper echelon. So that's kind of where he's at right now. Alex Perez, pretty well-rounded fighter, good striking, good grappling, good scrambling, decent wrestler. I kind of think Charles Johnson gets this one done, given the momentum and stuff. The age difference, not really huge there. It's only 2 years. What do the odds say? Energy over a 2-1 favorite. That's a little nuts. I don't know that he should be that much of a favorite. Alex Perez has good power. Charles Johnson has been cracked a couple times and hurt, but he seems to recover pretty well. His gas tank generally is there. Alex Perez is a monster early and then fades. I could see Charles Johnson surviving early and then turning the momentum around and coming back late to win that fight, potentially by finish. Maybe live bet that one, ride it out that first round and see like the odds as they swing in favor of Alex Perez as he starts landing some big shots. Maybe catch it in between the rounds if you, like I said, if you can catch some live betting, get it while the Charles Johnson line comes down from -2 to like maybe a -150, 130, maybe even plus money if he's really getting the shit beat out of him, and then hope he comes back. I don't know. We'll see. Moving on to the regular prelims, these bad boys start at 6 Central Time. Again, Paramount Plus. We have Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. Fun scrap. Modestas has kind of been on a bit of a comeback since he got cut from the UFC and kind of turning it around, right in course, and looking pretty decent. Volatile striker. Fairly well-rounded, decent grappling. Not like a super stud, stand out in any one department. He's just a pretty well-rounded guy, and I'd say he maybe favors the striking more than any other department. 19-6, like I mentioned, though, 31 years young. Coming off 4 in a row, most recently a KO win over Paul Craig. We took Modestas in that one, and I think I actually took the under was the way to go there, and I think I took the under. It was like under 2. Or maybe it wasn't, the round was not going to, it wasn't going to start round 2 or something like that. I just remember lucking out and being, skin of my teeth on hitting that one. And then if I remember, I got slaughtered the rest of the night. But, it's the way she goes. Going against a guy here, Nikita Krylov, 33 years old. I think they're pretty comparable in size, aren't they? Yeah, 6'3", 6'3". Also a pretty volatile striker, unconventional, throws stuff kind of crazy. He's got like a karate almost style. But throws some real funky shit, crazy kicks and like hammer fists and stuff occasionally. A little sloppy, leaves the chin out there and gets caught. 2 KOs in a row. I guess that tells you that. I would think so long as Modestas stays pretty sound, he's going to be, yeah. So they got him at a -140. I think that's actually about right on those odds as well. Odds makers are on top of this one. They've had a couple weeks, I guess, to do the research and get it together. So I would say Modestas wins this one at -140, though. It's not quite a toss-up, but pretty close. Maybe even just take like the under 1.5. That's probably a good one. Matter of fact, let's just do that. 2 volatile strikers, both of them with okay chins, not like stellar, amazing chins, pretty okay chins. There's a high possibility that one of these bad boys gets caught, puts the other one's lights out, or gets their lights put out, I guess, if they get caught. Next up, middleweight bout, Ateba Gaethje versus Andre Puliev. 2 dudes who I've only watched like 1 or 2 of their fights, but this Ateba Gaethje, however you say it, seems to be like the middleweight Ngannou, or at least that's what they're hoping for, they being the UFC. They're putting their eggs in a basket here and really banking on this guy being something. At 23 years old, he's got plenty of time to develop. Pretty good striking. Okay grappling. It's kind of sloppy, a little wild. But he's one of these dudes, like when he smells blood in the water, like you're just fucking done. He's going to berserker barrage you and just put you out. Crazy power. Trains Manchester top team. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fight win streak. all finishes, it looks like, as well. Good grief. Most recently, the KO win, first round over Tristan Vines. If I remember right, that was like one of the... Maybe it has a record for like the most lopsided fight in UFC history as far as the odds are concerned. Going against a guy here, though, in Pulev, 28 years old, so 5-year age difference. 10-3. Also favors the striking. If I remember right, Pulev's got a kickboxing background, most recently coming off the KO win over Nick Klein. Decision loss to CLD prior to that. What are our odds here, man? I feel like Ataba's got the clear power advantage. Oh, my God, minus 900. I didn't think they were going to be that lopsided. I was thinking like maybe 4-1, something like that. I mean, always for those odds, you might as well sprinkle a little bit on Pulev. The guy's not exactly like a complete chump. I do think Gaethje is probably going to catch him. He does have the power advantage. Fight's very long, like his reach, the way he extends the strikes is very much like Ngannou and stuff, where he ends up catching you. You think you're a little bit out of range, and all of a sudden you're getting clipped at the end of his punch, and you're getting sat down. So yeah, I think Gaethje should probably win that. You could maybe take the under. What was the under? Maybe that's the move. Take the under, and then at least you get coverage both ways. But I don't know, for plus 575, you could sprinkle a little bit on Pulev. Everybody can get caught. Middleweight, they got the power to put each other out. We'll see. Gaethje is probably going to have a size advantage. That dude is absolutely massive as well for middleweight. Cuts a lot of weight. And then finally, I always forget what this is called. Not the premier fight. The something or other. I don't know. Whatever. It's the last fight of the prelims. Umar Nurmagomedov versus Davison Figueiredo, the old Figgy. Real fun matchup. This is, to me, one of the more fun matchups on this card, which is saying a lot because there's several on here that are it's going to be a lot of fun. Umar, I think, who did he beat last? Or is he's not coming off the Merab loss, is he? No, that's right. Decision win over Mario Batista back in October. Fun fight. Umar's got a, I would say a grappling-centric style, but he also has pretty good striking, kind of like a karate style. A little bit longer of a stance, good with the kicks, pretty nimble, pretty versatile striker, which some of these Dagestani guys are a little bit one-dimensional in their game, so to see somebody come out of there, out of the Khabib camp with the arsenal at his disposal that Umar has, you're like, okay, shit, we got something to work with here. This is maybe not a super boring, just grapple heavy, take you down and lay on you style. And, of course, that's assuming they're not getting the submissions, because some of those guys do snatch up submissions, which I find entertaining, but a lot of them are boring as fuck. Umar's cool, man. He seems like a good dude. I like his interviews. He seems funny. He's got a good sense of humor. Great fighter. Very well-rounded. Great wrestling. Great striking. He's fast. He's strong. He's big. Cuts a lot of weight, so sometimes I worry about his gas tank and his chin. But I think this is a pretty clear win for Umar. Unfortunately, I think Figgy, as much as I like the guy, he's going to get mollywopped. Figgy, former champ, moved up a weight class, 38 years old, so he's getting a little bit up there in age. He's probably about done. 8-year age advantage for old Umar. Volatile striker and volatile grappler, honestly, as well. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He snatches up submissions. He's one of these guys who I think he's very explosive, very quick. Fades a little bit. The gas tank, you can't have all stats in your favor. Something's got to give, and for him, I think it's the gas tank. But like I said, he's volatile. He's a threat in those areas. He can snatch up a guillotine or an arm bar or a knee bar or something like that. And his striking is potent. A lot of straight, 1-2s, shit like that. He will open up and throw the hooks when he is in like mid combo, hitting a flow. But generally, it's a lot of 1-2s, low kicks, chopping low kicks. Got good front kick, good rips to the body. I just think Umar ragdolls him, which is sad to say. I'm sitting here talking about how good he is, and I go, yeah, but Umar's just going to fucking dump him on his head. I do kind of think that's what's going to happen, though. Minus 1,800. Good God. All right, well, he's the biggest favorite on the card. Clearly, I'm not the only one that thinks that. Maybe take Umar by submission or something like that. Maybe Umar inside the distance. Maybe just leave that one alone and watch it. It'll be fun. It's going to be another instance of Umar kind of establishing himself as the number one contender in that division after things get settled between old Petr Yan and Merab. So we'll see. Good one to kick it off into Well, I would say the pay-per-view. Normally they use this fight to try and sell the pay-per-views, but now they're just going to be trying to garner views. And so they put an exciting one there, I think. First fight of the main card, though, we have Arnold Allen versus old Gene or Lord Gene Silva, Gene Lord Silva, whatever his fucking nickname is. Fun matchup. We got Arnold Allen, the UK. He's from Suffolk, England. 20-3, 7 KOs, 4 subs, 9 decisions. 31 years old. He's got 3 losses, all by decision. The man can't be put away. Coming off a decision win over Gaethje Chikadze back in July of 2024. They've been gone for quite a while, about a year and a half. 2 losses in a row prior to that, but it's pretty much the top of the division. And then quite a win streak before that. So making a bit of a resurgence. Arnold Allen, southpaw. I'm looking at my notes here. Decently built. He's not like an absolutely massive guy, but he's pretty stout. Got a teeny tiny little pea head on top of his body, but he's pretty stout. Likes kind of circle around, bounce, reset, and then come back in. Throw the 1-2, rinse, repeat. Good shots to the body. Decently lead leg kick, if I could talk right. Pretty good chin as well. He was getting caught with some decent shots and seemed to be holding up pretty well against Gaethje Chikadze. Ate a couple knees. That's a tendency that I worry about a little bit. He ducks off to the side. Ate a knee against old Giga, and I think he ate a knee against Max Holloway as well. So that's something to worry about. But pretty good defensively, usually, aside from that little tendency there, which he's going to need against old Gene Lord Silva. 29 years old, 16-3, 12 KOs, 3 subs, 1 decision. Most recently coming off the TKO loss to Diego Lopez, which made me happy as hell. Not a big Gene Silva fan, but as a fighter, he's pretty exciting. Really explosive, real long stance forward, like L kind of stance. Front kicks up the middle. Good striking. Diverse arsenal. A lot of spinning attacks and crazy kind of shit. Get this pouch out. A lot of what he's doing is like single big shots, though. He doesn't always set stuff up with like volume, which I would like to see maybe a little bit more of. And I think it could really complement his power. A lot of what he's doing is like kind of feinting and baiting you and flicking at you and getting you real reactive and then throwing like a wheel kick or a big overhand or catching with a straight up the middle, something like that. He's landing some nasty front kicks against Diego Lopez, though, some good sneaky ones, which I think could potentially be a problem with Arnold Allen. Arnold Allen has a tendency, he's kind of got an upright stance, but his upper body, he like hunches over a little and kind of, I don't know, he's like real close stance, kind of like this when he's coming in. I could see a front kick sneaking right up the middle, catching him and sleeping him. So we'll see. Something to keep an eye on. Susceptible to the low lead kicks, old Gene Silva, which Arnold Allen does have that going for him. This was a tough one for me to pick. I think the odds should be closer than what they are. If I remember, they're pretty lopsided. Almost a 3-1 for Gene Silva. I do think he has the power advantage. Probably the speed advantage. I'm not super certain on that. I would say most likely. But I do think Arnold Allen is maybe the more technically sound, well-rounded fighter. Maybe the more physically strong as the fight goes on as well. Gene Silva is very explosive, very dynamic, but I think he uses a lot of his gas tank while doing that. And I think old Arnold Allen has pretty good staying power. So if this was a 5-round fight, I would really be in favor of that outcome. But 3 rounds, I don't know that Gene Silva is going to fade that much. But you consider the odds, plus 225. I'm going to take it. Let's go with Arnold Allen. I think he comes back. I just can't pick Gene Silva either. Just not a fan. So I could see Arnold Allen getting beaten up a little bit in the first round. So play those odds. Let him swell in favor of Gene Silva here and get Arnold Allen at like 4, plus 400, plus 450, something like that. Bet him up. Let those odds come swinging back when he proceeds to beat the fuck out of Gene Silva, comes back into the fight, and cuts your boy a check. That said, Gene Silva, front kick KO. Next, we have Miss Silva versus Rose, the old Thug Rose. Another fun matchup to me, kind of a hard one to pick. Natalia Silva's on a tear. Decision win over Alexa Grasso back in March or May, I want to say. 19-5, 28 years old, 5-7, 6-1 in her outcomes. 1 KO loss, 2 subs, 2 decisions. It was in May. They went over Alexa Grasso. Orthodox Taekwondo background, good counter strikes. Was landing the straight on Andrade quite a bit. Pretty fast, snappy strikes. Was landing like the 1, 2, 3 kind of combos against Grasso, coming in. Decent feints against Grasso. One of the things I noticed, though, against Grasso is she was kind of opening up and her chin was floating up a little bit in the air and kind of stationary in the middle. So that's something to keep an eye on. Old Thug Rose is pretty good at the counter striking. So I could see Rose capitalizing on that, slipping, maybe hitting her with the counter shots straights down the middle. Good close side kick to the body, though. Spin kick to the dome from old Natalia Silva. She was framing up a knee into the body as well. Decent takedown defense, which I think she might need against Thug Rose as well, because Rose, I believe, probably has better jiu-jitsu. Slowed some as the fight went on, but not like terribly bad. And this is a three-rounder, so I don't know that that's going to be a huge factor. Going against former champ here, an old Thug Rose, 33 years old, 14-7, 2 KOs, 5 subs, 7 decisions. Most recently coming off decision win over Miranda Maverick. Former champ, pretty well-rounded, good kickboxing, good grappling, mostly jiu-jitsu oriented. Seems like the mental hurdles are her biggest challenge. There's times where she's like real hesitant to pull the trigger. But honestly, Natalia Silva reminds me a little bit of Wiley stylistically, and I kind of Rose won that first fight, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Rose won both the fights, actually. For some reason, I thought Wiley won the second one, but it was a split decision. Either way, Rose won both of them. If she can go out there and look like her old self, which is, she's going to have to run the clock back, dial it back a little bit, but if she can do that, I actually think this is a winnable fight for old Thug Rose. I'll take a drink. Yeah. Where are my odds at? Right there. Plus 315, not bad, man. We're putting together quite the old parlay here. Plus 315, I think it's worth it. Sprinkle a little bit on her. Momentum, age, physicality, somewhat are in favor of Silva. I think speed probably, but raw strength, I could see Namajunas maybe out muscling old Silva. We'll see, man. We'll see. Fun fight. Next up, third fight from the top, we have a heavyweight bout. Maybe the most insane one on the card as far as outcome potential. We have heavyweight Waldo Cortez Acosta versus the Black Beast Derek Lewis. Super fun matchup. Fan of both of these guys. Waldo Cortez Acosta, Salsa Boy, has had quite the just career rise of late. What do you even say? He just really surged into the limelight of late. He had an eye poke against Ante Delija, which was after the Tom Aspinall eye poke. We've talked about this several times, so I don't want to spend a ton of time recapping all that, but ultimately got eye poked. Came back from the eye poke to knock out Ante Delija, who had never been KO'd, or no, he had said it in an interview that he had never eye poked anyone. So it's funny that he then proceeds to eye poke somebody in the very next fight and gets slept right afterwards after Tom Aspinall couldn't continue. Not to say anything about that, because Tom Aspinall now needs surgery for his fucking eyes. So, good fighter though, Waldo Cortez Acosta, former baseball player. I think he's got some boxing experience as well. Big, athletic heavyweight, quick hands, orthodox, a little flat-footed, fairly basic in his style. He's not throwing a wide array of strikes. It's a lot of kind of standard boxing. Excuse me. But he lands well. He's fast and he's got real good power. So I don't know. Do you have a whole ton of tools, or do you get a couple tools and you make them razor sharp and do them well? That's a timeless, age-old argument there. It's got the jab, nice low kick, straight right from the orthodox stance. A little bit heavy on the lead leg, so he can get chewed up there. People can kick the piss out of that, but I don't know that's going to be a huge, huge problem with old Derek Lewis. Not the most amazing takedown defense, but again, don't know that's going to be a huge problem with Derek Lewis. And he's at least good at getting back to his feet when he does get taken down. And pull up old Derek here. Going against the Black Beast. 6-year age advantage for old Waldo. Black Beast is 40 years old, 29-12. Obviously a huge experience advantage, which I think could be a factor here. Most recently coming off 2 wins in a row, 2 TKOs. We saw the one against Nascimento here in St. Louis, but then he had a TKO win over Talison Teixeira. Some people are saying an early stoppage. I don't know. Talison also used the fence to get up, so do with that what you will. Kind of basic in his game. He's a bit of a brawler. throwing the big overhands, likes to box, he clinches up with you, and he'll hit you kind of some phone booth fighting, get in there close. Likes to fake getting hurt, plays possum a lot, Derek Lewis, and then explodes at you and catches you with the big shot. I kind of think Waldo gets this one done here. Minus 320. I think he's probably faster. Momentum's kind of in his favor, age advantage. And just seems to be on a tear. The one question mark here is the experience, and then perhaps has old Waldo Cortez Acosta drank his own Kool-Aid, so to speak, as he bought into his own hype. I think there's a potential for that. Derek Lewis, the savvy, crafty vet, could potentially sneak him, catch him with something. And it really only takes, Derek Lewis is the KO king. It takes one shot, and he'll put you away. But I would say Waldo Cortez probably gets this one done. He's the faster, more technical striker. I say he probably peppers Derek Lewis, hurts him, puts him away. Unfortunately, probably pretty early. We'll see. Probably pretty early, though. Next up, co-main event of the evening. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. This is replacing the Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes fight, which got canceled because Kayla Harrison's neck exploded, apparently. But we have Sugar Sean O'Malley, former champ, 31 years old, 18-3. Coming off 2 losses in a row, both to Merab Dvalishvili, most recent one last June. Got a north-south, like a bulldog type choke there. Cranked the ever-loving piss out of his neck. I wonder if it was more of a crank than a choke. Not that it matters. I'm just, jiu-jitsu curiosity. 31 years old, though. 12 wins by KO, 1 by sub, 5 decisions. Tall, lanky, dynamic striker. He's explosive. Very quick. Not a lot of telegraphing in his strikes. Very diverse arsenal. Got the good knees, front kicks, kicks to the body. Good straight shots. Can throw a hook on you real good. Overhand when he wants to. He's landed uppercuts on people. He's just got just about everything at his disposal. He's one of these guys you kind of worry, almost like Dominic Cruz, how well his body holds up. Some of these guys, some dudes are just not. Like, you're just not made super, super durable, and the sport is really rough on you, and it kind of tears you apart. Suga's been hurt several times already in his career, both inside and outside of fights, in camp and stuff. So I hope he's in good health. I'd like to see a Suga in perfect health come back and make another run at the title. Going against a guy here in Song Yadong, it always blows me away how young Song is, given his experience. He's got 32 fights, got a draw and no contest as well. I was going to say 30 fights, but he's got the draw and no contest as well. And he's only 28. 9 KOs, 3 subs, 10 decisions. It's a Team Alpha Male guy. Once he came over from China. Most recently coming off a decision win over Henry Cejudo, which was kind of some bullshit because he eye-poked the ever-loving fuck out of Henry Cejudo. He's an orthodox fighter, light and springy. Pretty short, compact build, likes to fight close. He's going to have to close the gap against Sugar Sean, who has real good lateral movement, all kinds of movement. So I think he might be chasing Sean O'Malley a little bit, so we'll see how that goes. Frames off with the hands open, hence the eye poke against Cejudo. So I worry also that Sean O'Malley, while he's coming in with a straight shot, Song might frame up and eye poke the piss out of him. Good jab to the body, decent low kicks. I think he really is only throwing the low kicks to set up his hands, though. Really favors the hands. Wrestling, given that he's a Team Alpha Male guy, you got to assume he's at least a passable wrestler, both defensively and offensively. So maybe he implements that in this fight to mix it up with Sean O'Malley, because if it's just a straight-up striking match, I would think Sean O'Malley is going to pepper him up pretty good, stay on his bike, and chew him up, which is kind of what I think is going to happen here. I don't know that Song Yadong is going to be good enough to get the takedowns. I think we might see him do some chasing here. Sean O'Malley needs to stay away from him, pepper him up, land the big shots when possible, rip the low kicks, and then switch it up, go upstairs occasionally. But by and large, stay away, keep it safe, pepper him up, get a nice, safe win. Let's start getting some momentum back for Sugar Sean. He's grown on me a little bit. I was not a big fan, and then listening to him on the podcast and shit, he's actually pretty funny. He seems like a nice enough guy, so I'd like to see him come back. We'll see. I actually like both these dudes. Song Yadong on Mighty Mouse's podcast recently was really good. Fun interview. So we'll see. Fun scrap. I think Sean O'Malley probably gets it done. And then the main event of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. Interim lightweight belt on the line. Of course, the UFC can't have a working website, so I'll just switch over to Sherdog. Interim lightweight belt, we have Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. Justin Gaethje, the human highlight, 37 years old. He's 26-5, 20 KO wins, 1 submission, 5 decisions. Been KO'd 3 times, subbed twice, never lost a decision, which is wild to think. Most recently, back in March, coming off a decision win over Rafael Fiziev, not Rafael, he's not Brazilian, which is the second time he's fought Fiziev and beat him in a decision. We're just saying something. Fiziev's a pretty accomplished striker, and for Gaethje to stay in there with him and pick him apart like he did in a striking match, largely striking match, is pretty impressive. Paddy the Baddy here, 31 years old, 23-3, 7 KO wins, 10 submissions, 6 decisions. Largely, what the hell? Largely a grappler, but he's got some okay striking. Chin floats up a little bit in the air. How are these two going to match up? Justin Gaethje, of course, has the crazy low kicks, just chews you up. Good hooks. Kind of close phone booth fighting, which worries me a little bit because Paddy Pimblett wants to get a hold of you, and then Justin Gaethje's going to be in there close to do so. That said, Paddy Pimblett's chin likes to creep up into the air. He was getting cracked by Gordon. Jared Gordon, I kind of think he lost that fight. Most people think he lost that fight. Against a guy like Justin Gaethje, you're not going to be doing that shit. And if you do and you get caught, you're probably going to sleep. Now, Paddy Pimblett, he's a scouser. Supposedly scousers don't get knocked out. So, assuming he has some kind of like biological advantage or ability to never go to sleep, I guess he's just going to win no matter what. But I don't know, man. Justin Gaethje has a supposedly good wrestling background. He wrestled in college and shit. He was like an NCAA champ or something. I don't remember. Whatever. Has wrestling credentials from college. Wrestles with Kamaru Usman and trains with those guys. But then he goes out there and fights and proceeds to never use it. I think in this fight, he's going to want to use it only to basically stay on the feet and stay away from Paddy. I don't think he's going to want to like shoot any takedowns or anything like that. It's going to play into Paddy's submission ability. Paddy reminds me a little bit of Aljo and his ability to get to the backpack, or get to your back, and then backpack, get the body triangle in, and keep that position. Did it pretty well against Michael Chandler. Was able to land some big shots. Beat him up pretty good on the ground. Chandler's a guy who's pretty hard to control as well, though, so that was impressive to me. I don't know, man. I'm struggling on this one. Paddy's the favorite, I think, for a reason, but I do think Justin Gaethje can get it done, man. I think he's got one last good one in him. I think he realizes this is probably his last chance at plus 195. I'd do it. Take those odds. Screw it. Go for it. Justin Gaethje wins by KO. I think Paddy Pimblett gets a little too overzealous, pushing the takedowns, comes in. Gaethje stays on his feet, stuffs a couple takedowns, manages to break the distance. I don't know. As I'm saying this, I'm like, man, I kind of think old Pimblett gets his back and throws in the body triangle and submits him. Maybe just take the under. Take the under. Under 2.5. Forget it. Just take the under. Forced to pick. I'm going with Gaethje. We're going with the American. USA. But I'm a little nervous on this one. A little nervous on it. But that is it. First card, UFC 324 in the bag. It is the first Paramount Plus card. Should be a good one. A lot of fun matchups here. Hopefully we make some money while we're at it, but who cares? We're saving so much by not having the pay-per-view cost on top of the freaking ESPN Plus subscription that it doesn't matter. It's like we're playing for free all year long, basically. So that is it. Like, comment, follow, subscribe, help brother out. And maybe we'll do a recap episode of this card, and we'll talk about how the Paramount Plus, the first event, goes. Hopefully we don't have any stream issues like ESPN Plus did. So that's it, folks. We'll see you later. Peace out.